Think about, put something in the chat. What's something you want right now? What's something you want? Just put it in the chat. It might be a car. It might be connecting with a school for your kids. Maybe it's something you're like a little bit nervous. You're thinking, okay, like I'd really love to. What is that thing? Right? Get rid of your job, right? 9 to 5. Who would like to get rid of that? Just like Christian sharing. And I really, he really means that when he says the job was in the way. Like he was still working and what he was trying to figure out a way, and it just wasn't even possible. So I want you to see that you want to make it so that your job is absolutely no longer needed. Amen in the chat. What else? Autonomy over my schedule and my financial overflow, 100%. Right? We want to be able to be the ones that are in charge. But let's think about that for a second. When you go somewhere, are most people driven, focused, organized, planned, know what's happening, kind of lead in a room? Or are most people passive? Most people are actually in the passenger seat or in the back seat, or like my British friends say, in the boot of the car. So you might be sitting in the boot. Are you sitting in the back seat? Are you in the passenger seat? Are you in the driver's seat today? Because a business that makes the kind of money to fund the God-sized dreams that you want requires someone who's sitting in the driver's seat. I want you to put driver's seat in the chat. The second we relinquish our authority, I really like, we've had this conversation, Christian and I, because we believe so much in the power of the spirit realm. And we listen to some fantastic leaders, as well as, those of you who know me, right? I prophesy over people everywhere I go, all over the world. And actually, if you want to increase your authority and your ability to close sales well, you like, I would just automatically go with that instinct. If you're like, the Holy Spirit showing you something, ask permission first to somebody, but say, may I share with you? May I share with you? I call it permission-based marketing. Those of you who know anything about how I teach people how to do marketing, marketing should be the conversation that's going on in your prospect's head. And you're saying it so well that they automatically trust you because they go, how do you know me so well? But when you start speaking into people's lives, walking into rooms and commanding that level of authority, somebody put authority in the chat. When you command authority, you know what direction you're going in. You have an offer and a solution for people. You've already brought them to a place where they've got results and their life has changed. Will they automatically feel know, like, and trust? Yes or no in the chat. Will they automatically feel know, like, and trust? Will everything in them be vibrating on that highest level of energy? That highest level of energy. Can you guys tell what level of energy somebody is when you walk into a room? Yes or no? You can tell within a few seconds whether or not you would actually follow the direction of somebody. And you can tell if you are that kind of person by who follows you. Hey, let me show you this. When you go somewhere, so you go on an airplane, you are in a store, how many people have other people come up to you and ask you for help? Put me in the chat right now. People say, hey, do you happen to know, or are you wondering, right? Come on, all of you. It's because you're operating at such a high level of frequency. I call it the frequency of heaven. And, my pastor one time asked me, like, what is this frequency of heaven? But there are energy levels, there are quantum levels. This is in physics, right? That you're operating in a high level frequency that other people can tell. So I wouldn't be as concerned as all this, like, you read about all these things. And again, I love a lot online, but unlike a lot of people that came online, I actually went to business school, right? So I studied business law and calculus. I actually started businesses. I was a consultant. I ran a restaurant. I ran a law practice. Like, I've had a lot of experience. I worked in ministry. I've lived all over the world. I raised 11 kids while homeschooling everybody and running profitable companies. So I have a little bit of experience in things. And I think sometimes we're making it too compartmentalized and strategically just about tactics. If we do X, Y, and Z, which is true, there are some things that if you follow a system or structure, you're going to get results, right? If we were to make a smoothie right now, which I'm very thankful that I don't eat or have anything until 11 a.m., I usually work out really early. I drink 4 liters of water a day and I have a smoothie. So if you were to take a smoothie, put a scoop of Vega protein and some almond milk, which is what I do, right? And you mix it up, you're going to get a certain result. If we had the protein and some almond milk and we started adding like cumin seeds and we started adding some tobacco, maybe some coffee grinds from the compost, we're going to have a disgusting result. Can I get a witness of yes? So there is a science to certain things. There are biblical principles. There are principles of our world that will govern, somebody put govern, whether or not things are going to work. So there is a bit of a science. But a lot of it has to do with the person who's in the room. When you show up to a room and you're applying these proven biblical or proven, like I have in my academies, proven systems and structures, and they're done by a person who is operating at a high level of faith. Somebody put faith in the chat. High level of energy, a high level of this outcome is going to happen. Anybody be around somebody before that has that we're doing this attitude? Put yes in the chat. How do you feel around somebody who's like, I'm not sure. And like, I'm thinking maybe like one day, someday, perhaps we could, or I don't know, wherever you want to go, we could do some like people like that. I feel super nervous around. Anybody else? Someone who has no plan. Like I tend to like to drive everywhere, not just because I drive sports cars and I drive fast. That's my biggest weakness, actually, just so you guys know right away. Like for me, like my foot being on the gas pedal and getting tickets. I haven't got a ticket in a long time, though, have I, honey? It's been a while. I've been pretty good. Last time I got a really high level ticket, like so high, it was the same price as my membership to the spa that I go to. I have like a year-long membership for a cold plunge, eucalyptus room, everything, and I drive there. But my J convertible, it just likes to go a little bit faster, you know? Are you with me here? Okay, so let's get back on track, right? But we can tell when we meet somebody. So I want you to be thinking today of your highest level question for me, because everything you want, put it in the chat. Everything I want is on the other side of a difficult conversation. And the more conversations you're willing to have, now I'm talking about conversations that are worth it. You can have a conversation with your next door neighbor who is a narcissist, who plays music full blast all day, all night, doesn't listen to anybody, I don't have this in reality. I live in a dream neighborhood, but has a big old dog on the front yard and a bunch of junk and antiques and all kinds of stuff and is yelling at people. You can go, well, I'm just going to go over and I'm going to change this person's life. That is not a good use of your time. I'm talking about conversations where if you entered into a conversation, the payout would be a quantum leap for you. What would that look like for you if you today operated in the highest level of faith, the highest level of belief, knowing that the payout is there, knowing you can bring that payout to a government, a company, a person, that highest level? If you're to have that conversation and you are skilled, somebody put skills in the chat, because sometimes Christians holiatize things. They holiatize and think that there isn't a skill level involved. Well, I don't know about you, but if I go to the dentist, I don't want somebody who just prayed in faith that they could become a dentist. Could I get a witness here in the chat? I don't want somebody that's just like, I'm really believing God's really called me to be a dentist. So I know on the spirit realm, I really am. So bring me your mouth and I'm going to get out a whole bunch of tools. No way. There is no reality that I am opening up my mouth to somebody who's unskilled. However, we have allowed ourselves to believe that there isn't a level of communication that is so high that if we operate in it, we will be able to bring the thing that we want into existence. God has already planned for you to have so much gold. There is gold in your garden right now. In the book of Genesis, gold is mentioned 8 times, and 8 is actually the number of abundance. It's mentioned 8 times. Like to me, I just like, God, you're so cool. He put gold around us because he wanted us to know that's who you are. Did we need any gold in the garden? To like Adam and Eve are like, oh man, like Chick-fil-A's got a special today. Get your gold together. We got to go get some, we got to get some of those fries, you know, and I want like a cherry limeade. No, there was nothing that they had to buy. God had it present because he was like, I like you so much. I want you just to be reminded every day of how glorious you are. So we know that there's a victory that's already there for us. We know that the victory is already there, right? Who knows the victory is already there? But sometimes we don't act like, somebody put act like, we don't act like the victory is already there. We know that we want to accomplish what God's called us to, and that it's going to take finances to do it. Yes or no? And when we holiatize and go, well, I'm believing that somewhere, like it doesn't work like that. That's actually lazy thinking. God has principles, God has formulas. There is a way to do things that God's calling you to. And so, if you desire to get to this level, somebody put, you got to go through the learning curve to get to the earning curve. You've got to go through the learning curve to get to the earning curve. Right. I am so thankful that when I came into the online space years ago, like I didn't even know how to open Facebook, guys. For any of you who think you can't learn anything, I mean, I was also judgmental. Can I get some of you intellectuals here to be a little bit like just come alongside me for a second? I was a little bit snobby. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't want to, I'm not really interested in that. Plus, in if you're in a professional, if you have a professional background, you want to be really careful, don't you? You don't want to be like putting information out there about other people or anybody could think it's about one of your clients. Like there's just, you want to be careful with confidentiality. Can I get a witness in the chat? So I want you to understand that there is a way that you can shine online and you can choose to get rich, not famous. Many people out there are just pumping the, you've got to have like millions of followers and make content all day long. And if you don't want to make content all day long, we're going to create AI robots for you so we can just pretend you're doing things. Like this is just getting worse and worse to me. And we're going to post it everywhere so that you can have so many followers. So let's just stay with me on that thread. If we have so many followers and we have no idea what we do and how we serve and an offer to sell them, does it really matter if we have 10 followers or 10 million? Because we have a broken system, don't we? But if you know who you serve, if you know the problem you solve, if you do it so uniquely, I really believe in this. If you have never watched my training on finding your signature anointing, just please reach out. I have 2,000 trainings, not overwhelming anybody. And it's not to, I'm not bragging or anything. Anytime somebody feels that they needs a solution, I create it. That's all that there is to it. Okay. But I believe so much that we are so uniquely gifted that there is no competition. We are genetically accurate for our assignments. Having 11 children taught me something. I mean, it taught me a lot of things, but it taught me that, there's no small pie anywhere. That God has more than enough for all of us, right? Some of you put in the chat, yes, if you have more than one child, right? When you have that first child, you're thinking, oh my goodness, like it is a bit overwhelming, isn't it? It's a big shift to go from no kids to a child. But then once you have 2 and 3 and 4 and beyond, God shows you like, wow, 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 this is amazing. Each one of them are so unique and so beautiful and so gifted and so talented. And there's so much that's different. Each one of us, just so if you can't believe it for yourself, just think of your child, is so uniquely been crafted. So you have a problem, but I have a solution in the chat. You have a solution that you can provide that only you, and it's a lie from the pit of hell that says that somebody else is going to do that. But let me give you a bit of a warning. If you don't fulfill it, probably nobody else will. And if you allow the enemy to say, who will pay for that? Where do you find the leads? What kind of this? What kind of that? What about this? Just remind yourself. Have you ever had the enemy say those things to you in other seasons of your life? Maybe when you went to school or you got a job or a partner or a person or a lover or a friend or a new anything. The enemy knows he has the most impact when it's in seed form. Because to build this, you've got to let the seed go into the ground and die. Like this just blows my mind, right? Our first thing that we do when we get into something is we usually have to invest, right? You invest in a mentor because it collapses your time frame. I've worked with some amazing mentors. I've worked with people who have taught me that I don't like what they do, and I've created my own. I've worked with mentors that I love what they do, and I've expanded on it because they weren't a believer. And I thought, you know what? I want I want environments that are just soaked with the Holy Spirit and business. There's no reason we can't have both, guys. We don't need to be swearing our faces off and acting one way in one room and then going to another room. God doesn't like that. That is a lack of integrity. So we have a seed, and then we have a shoot that happens, and then we have a root system, and we have a fruit system. And it takes some time. But if you have somebody who helps you, right? Like today, questions that you ask, I want to help you. So we're going to lean into that because your fruit system will happen much faster. Write this down. If you become the person for whom the work will work for, you've got to become the person for whom the work will work for, because it's not tactics and strategies that get us where God's calling us. The higher levels, they come from becoming the person. You have to be up, to boss up, to bank up. If you want to be that person of authority, you have to step into environments that challenge you, not environments where you go, I've got this, I can stay complacent, I can live on the same budget, I can do everything exactly the same. That is a lack of growth, and that is not trust. That's the opposite of trust. You should feel genuinely scared and excited every day of your life. And people around you can feel that if you're stepping into, okay, because let me just ask you right now, you know, Justin Bieber, he grew up in our church. And, pastors that married us that are our dear friends have been to Justin's, mom's house and his house, and he doesn't live far from us. And, I'm not throwing out names. It has nothing to do with me. But that kind of person, people can think, oh, I don't want to work with. Well, his Hailey Bieber was a fan of his who wrote to him and somehow convinced him to go out with her. That is sales, isn't it? Everything you want is on the other side of a difficult conversation. And that difficult conversation here is not going to be, you get that skill, right? Then you go to here and you're going up the learning curve. Look at this. You're going up the learning curve and you're making more money. And now you know how to command more difficult conversations. You know how to overcome obstacles before they even come into your realm because you're so savvy on how you have conversations, because you learned at this level and you became and you became and you did more and you became more. Genesis 1:28 says that we have to be fruitful, do multiplication, and have dominion. We have to be, to do, to have. The more that you do, the more you're going to become. The more you become, the more you're going to have. So I want you to know that it is possible, first of all, but there is a correlation between you becoming the person for whom the work will work for. Any toxic junk from your past, there's no shame. It's just that's going to have to change. Any lack of skill sets around communication, no shame. It's a skill set to learn and you can master it. You're going to be in this space of, I'm going to be fruitful, I'm going to do multiplication, and I'm going to have dominion. Who wants to have dominion? Who wants your movies to be all over the world where people go, oh my goodness, there must be a God? That movie blew my mind. How many of you want to have solutions completely satisfied around the globe that people one day say, that's attributed to Miriam, that's Gila, that's Jana's work, Leanna did that, Mark did that, look at what Tavia did. I don't want to leave and God to go, thanks for hiding that one talent in the backyard. I want God to high five me. This is what I picture. I know I'm hilarious, but I picture like a big, heaven is like a big country house with a big porch wraparound. And you get offered some nice iced tea when you step into heaven. And Jesus is just like high fiving me. And then all the people that I led to Christ, all the people I showed grace to, all the people, all the kids that I mentored, all the families, all the money I gave to start up things, all of those people are like, I finally get to hug you. Can we start to focus on that instead of our small thinking? Because everything you want is on the other side of another level you've never stepped into. Let's step into it today. What question can you ask that will take you to a new level, a new plane, a new way of thinking? Teams, people raise their hands, we bring them in. Can we make sure we set about a 5-minute timer? If we go over, can people just be patient and not be stressed out? Anything I share, could you just apply it to your life? Anything, just go, okay, how can I apply that to me? All right, I'm just going to go around the room. Miriam, I'm going to bring you in. Hi, lovely.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you could solve something today, what would you just like love to know? And we could have breakthrough in 5 minutes.
I feel that my calling is for Hispanic people. I apologize. I have a bird that screams. Hispanic women, Spanish. I'm in a
Yep.
program right now. Everything is in English, and the flow is very different. And also, when I did ask the question about can I do it in Spanish, in English, the monetization is different. But I like the monetization part in English because I would like to dedicate myself administering full time. That's why I need it so I can do this. But I wouldn't be able to do it if I started in Spanish. So, but the thing is that I don't know. I'm just
That's
it,
okay. You're fine. You're absolutely fine because I hear your heart in this. So if I hear you correctly, your passion is for Spanish speaking people and cultures, and you're able to articulate and communicate best in Spanish. But you
yes,
also know that being paid in US dollars and speaking to, and the buyers may be English speaking people. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. So
that's
it's
1%.
okay. It's okay. I want you guys to remember, like part of it too is you guys, some of you know that I've been to Cozumel 30 times in the last 4 years. And we're doing the early stages of developing a church. I'd like to hire a pastor and his wife, or a pastor and her husband, to be planting and be the ones responsible for setting up all kinds of transformation in Cozumel, right? That isn't my business. That would be unwise if that was my business. Now, I meet clients there because I want them to also see, wow, I could run retreats here. I could also take people on yachts and do amazing things as a business and fund projects on the island. So I want you to think of, Miriam, that you want to create a business tree. So it's a combination of ministry and a business. And then that will fund your ministry instead of being in the ministry model. I think the ministry model is an old, broken model that no one is interested in anymore. Of just, let's just, again, do we want to, of course, give to our church, give to different bodies, give to the different things that God puts on our heart? 100%. But I think the idea of let's set up a ministry as a way to somehow just go around begging people for money is a broken model. Would you agree?
Yes,
Right. So
yes.
so if you're stepping into let me just ask this question to everyone. If somebody's like begging and trying and like to get money, do you feel authority from them? Yes or no in the chat? No, right? There's no authority feeling. You feel like, why are they talking like, because the Bible says, and again, you can apply this to any faith, you know, that God doesn't call us slaves. That's a slave mentality. Would you guys agree? If we're begging and like, oh, right. He says we're the head and not the tail. We're above and not beneath. We're a royal priesthood. Would a royal priesthood go around begging for funding? So instead, price yourself well, Miriam. If you have, you guys can choose any model, right? To make your first million, easiest way is you have one client who pays you $1 million. Then there's any other subset of that to do it. You can decide. Everybody put in the chat, I get to decide. There is no reality where you go, oh, well, what will the market pay? I want you to all see it's your lack of skill sets. If you have sales mastery, and I don't even like saying it like that, because I would say, like, I don't have any, like, I didn't have sales background. I'm well educated. You know, I have a pastoral and law and business and calculus and chef background and raised 11 kids while doing all these things. So I've got an unusual skill set. But I didn't have a sales background. I wasn't ever a car salesman. I've never had any of those experiences. But I'm a communication expert. Learning how to unlock a person so well and solve their problem for them and talk about it so well, Miriam, they will pay you whatever you're offering. Okay, for that solution. Right? Anybody here ever had something in your life that you just like, it doesn't matter how much the money, just tell me I want it fixed right now? Everybody's had something, right? Yeah. Like if somebody's dying, you cannot save them, right? Like if somebody says, oh, it's $1 million, 10 million to have a surgery, you're like, okay, let's do it. We're going to find a way. So instead of waiting for those opportunities, curate a life like that already. So you make a decision of, I'm going to help people, right? You're going to bring your solution to your people. Let's say they pay you $10,000. Is that too high? Or is that a good level for you? Would you be okay with?
I would be so happy.
Okay. So they pay you $10,000. How many of those do you need to get to your first million? Right? We have 100 people. Does that seem overwhelming? Because all of you, if I said you have a $4 offer and I said it's 100 people, you go, oh, okay, I can do that. So you just change the price. If you have 100 people, are you going to feel less burnt out having a conversation with them, knowing the payoff? Right? You're going to be excited to talk to them, aren't you? Okay. So going back to, you can 100% do what I call it the both and. You just have to switch the model. Decide you're going to have a business tree that funds your ministry and make sure you like the price point and that you deliver on it in integrity, which normally anybody who comes into my world are high integrity people that just really want to do good work. I never seem to have nasty people come into my world, which thankful. And then that way, if you're making your next million, are you going to then be able to say, let's take some of that content, let's turn it into Spanish, let's offer it as a ministry and at a lower price point? See, I just saw your whole heart leap inside of you. Do you feel like it's possible now? Is this helpful? All right. Blessings to you. I'm excited. That makes me so happy, guys. Everybody here, put some fire in the chat. Like when people have breakthrough in their mindsets, don't you guys just like feel like everything inside of you feels good? Yeah, like Leanne is tearful. Don't you want to live like that every day? Maybe you don't, but for me, I just see life as this brilliant adventure. We are on a brilliant adventure that we get to. We get to design a life that we want. And so anything that's outside of that, right, is really, if you want to 10x your life, you really have to just start to go, what is the 80? So as I work with the next person, I want you guys to think, like, what is the 80% that I want to get rid of? My new book that isn't out yet, but I will let you know as soon as it's done, is no is the beginning of yes. What do you want to get rid of? And what 20% just locked and load this? Right? I won't tell you my whole 20%, but I don't want to work with people that don't light me up. I don't want to be on projects or go to places that don't light me up. Now you may be thinking, well, we're Christians or we have a faith. We have some kind of faith. We're supposed to just be doormats. I don't believe in doormat theology. And I hope that today all doormat theology is blown out of the water for you. God actually doesn't want us. Like, he doesn't want you to be married to someone that's totally a nightmare. He doesn't desire for you to be in places of work where nobody cares about you. And let's just slap a band-aid on it and call it like, oh, I'm just serving God. No, you're miserable and you're not taking the next step to make things better. Can we call it what it really is? So when I go to the next person, raise your hand, whoever's ready. Be thinking about, as I ask the questions, what can you get rid of so that you can 10x your life? What are you going to get rid of? What no's can you put in place? All right. Who is ready, team? Gila, come on in, girl. Hey, beautiful. So glad you're here.
Hi, thrilled to be here. Thank you.
You bet. It's my joy. What would you love to have breakthrough in right now?
I'm really where to start so that I focus on your methodology and suggestion, stopping with the, you know, uh, complex, bespoke kind of things and honing in on within my network, starting to find those right people because I know there are those right people within my network.
Yeah, excellent question. So everyone who's listening, want you to also do the exercise, right? Sometimes people think one-to-one is the best, but it really isn't. Like one-to-many is the best because everyone can be listening and be changing and being transformed in a way they never would if it was just one person. So I just want to say that. So do the exercise with us. So Gila is thinking about like knowing, and some of you don't know all about my systems, but I say that simplicity scales, complexity fails. And to scale to your next million in sales, so it can be your first million, it can be your next million, we're going to pick one thing. Everyone put one thing. Does that mean you're not doing other things? No. So stay with me because there's a lot of things on your desired list of projects. So everyone here, you have a list, of things God wants you to do or that you're called to do. Just put yes in the chat, all of you. You know what that is. You really, like William Faulkner says, you've got to murder your darlings. And it's very difficult to do it, but you must count the cost of you keeping all of the nonsense, all the knucklehead, all the people in your world. Like today, my team said that they, blocked 15 people, they unfriended all these other people. I'm not even involved in the process. They know me so well. They know what I would like and I don't like, and they just make those decisions for me. Right? Because I don't want drama people. I don't want people that don't do the work. Right? So make your list, Gila, of your non-negotiables. Everyone here, what's your non-negotiable? People who, just like, I don't like holiatizers. And again, I love spiritual people. Guys, don't hear what I'm not saying. People who don't want to take action. They're not my people. So if they just want to talk to me all day about their ideas and never do it, they're not my person. So Gila, you've got your list of non-negotiables, right? This has to do with who you want to work with. I want you guys to see that a lot is who, not how. Most of you focus on how do I do it? How do I? If you're making enough money, could you take a who and add a who in instead of a how? Yes or no in the chat, right? Gila, you can answer because you're in the love seat.
Yes.
Right?
You mean like someone to handle the thing instead of me figuring it out? Is that what you mean?
Well, you're going to need to direct them. So again, I want you guys to remember my female founder, and applies to guys too. Female founder replacement ladder, right? These are the go from what's the most expensive to outsource versus the least expensive. Everyone, right? If you don't have an admin assistant or you don't have a housekeeper, you are the housekeeper and the admin assistant. And no one's going to pay you $40,000 an hour while you're still doing $10 an hour tasks. It's a spiritual law as well as a physical law. You are sending out to the airwaves, I don't really believe that I am worth this value because I'm not willing to pay someone else. If you've never started before, some of you, don't get overwhelmed because it's a whole process, right? So you've got your housekeeping, you've got your admin, you've got your delivery system, you've got your marketing, then you have sales and leadership. And a lot of people offload sales and they don't realize that they're losing money because they've never learned how to unlock people well. If you have a $50,000 offer, Gila, which is what, you and I are going to have a conversation about and figure out what's best for you.
Yes.
You want to immediately get really clear on, you're non-negotiable of the kind of person you want to work with. You're really clear. Be clear, guys, because it's not just who will buy. I've had to say no to people that are 50, 100, 200, $1,000 offers to pay me. I've had to say no before. Because you don't want to get into a relationship with someone who isn't interesting, who isn't curious, who isn't on an adventure, isn't willing to step outside the box, who, right? Like you don't want to. You've left your 9 to 5, you left all the normal. So why would you get back into normal? It's not going to work for you. So you're going to get really clear on what your offer is. But this is what I see most people do is they educastinate. Right? You overthink it. You're like, okay, here's my time. I can make the most beautiful PDF, beautiful website. Can I tell you guys right this moment while I'm on this call? My production manager has my content for the next month. He has my emails, my reels, my stories. He has the content I'm teaching in the Kingdom Sales Academy next Thursday. He has the slide deck, the workbook, everything. He's making it look beautiful. I don't spend one freaking second on anything that isn't intellectual or spiritual or moving my people forward. He's getting that all set up. I have a Sales Boss suite that I invented. I have Sales Boss Suite AI. He's putting everything so anyone who's a client of mine can get super excited about the juice. He's getting all that ready for all the what's the prompts, what's this, what's this, what's this. And I reverse engineer marketing based on your sales process. I don't create sales from a marketing process, very contrary to how everybody else is teaching. But I'd rather have fewer high paying clients who I like being around, who pay well and are fun to be with. That's my business model. And I want a business where my nervous system feels safe in. And I'll only create those for other people. If you want complexity and drama and 5,000 different offers and people who want you to over deliver and call you at 11 o'clock at night, I'm not for you. So Gila, you're going to lean into a total restructure of your nervous system to keep it safe. And you're going to have very tight boundaries and only work with people that you're being honest. Everybody put honesty in the chat. If we're really honest, there are people we don't want to work with. There are people that there are places we don't want to go. And every time we keep picking up, we are saying again, I am willing to not believe that I can have the finances to offload the 80% of my life right now. If your ceiling does not become your floor, you are forever going to stay going around the mountain. I'll say that again. If your ceiling does not become your floor, you're going to go around the mountain and go around the mountain until you come back to say, I'm still in pain. And it is hard. The good is the detriment of the best. You've done some great things, Gila. It's time to say thank you to all the good things, all of you. Say thank you, God. Thank you for my previous relationships. Thank you for the person I was married to. Thank you for the old offer I used to operate in. Thank you for all the training and teaching and learning I did going to law school. Whatever it is, Gila, you say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I release you now. Put it in the chat. I release you now. If we don't bless and release, We stay stuck in levels of energy that don't match our future self. We have to make a decision that feels scared and excited. Skited is my word. Nuanceonomics is my word. I say a lot of things. Business tree. I know I say a lot of different words because I don't want to fit into something. Gila, you're about to create something that nobody's ever seen before. You're about to have something that women really want, and you work with people that value you and that they want to be there and they pay in full, and you make $1 million. And then you go, what next, coach? And you just follow a system, right? Us thinkers, sometimes we overthink, but if we have somebody that we can rest our calling safely on and just follow a system, right? It took me 25 years to get to where I am now. All the things that I've worked out, all the things I've tested, all the methods that work and what doesn't work. And I'm not just talking about what brings results. All of us could spam everybody all over the world and say, you want to buy a watch, you want to buy a watch, you want to buy a watch, you want to buy a watch. Or we could try to do it in a totally different way where our nervous system feels so good, where we know we're changing people's lives just by the messages we're sending to them. And that you don't need everyone to work with you. Does 20 people feel overwhelming, Gila?
No.
Do you have faith that in a week you can have the whole infrastructure and somebody who can keep you accountable to stop educrastinating? Because that's what our body wants to do. It wants to say, I'm going to do it when. Everyone put what is your when? I'm going to do it when what? Kids go back to school? When what? When I actually have it all perfect, my PDF is gorgeous. Remember, people don't really care. I've had people buy from me, never read. I've had people come up to me at events and say, I don't care what it is. Just I want to buy your, but I just want to work with you. I don't even know what it is. Just give me the paperwork, let me sign it. People make those decisions the moment you enter a room. Your delay and your second guessing yourself is causing you to lower the amount of money that you're able to command in a space. No hesitation, Gila. Committed? I hope you feel terrified because, guys, if we don't, right? If we don't, we're probably not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So your next course of action, Gila, is to just, if you're ready and we start working, just go 100 miles an hour to do the dirty 30, to get up the learning curve, to get to the earning curve, so that once you just keep being going, guys, come on, we just keep going. We keep going, we keep learning. This is iterations towards mastery. Iterations, we just keep doing them. Okay, I got a feedback loop. I'm learning. All right, I'm doing things better. I'm commanding better. I got a good offer. Closing the sale. I want a higher level sale. Coach, what can we do? We just keep going. We just keep going. We keep leveling up. And before you know it, you're like, wow, I had just closed 50K sale and I did another one and then I did another one. I can now, who can we hire? And you start asking better questions. Who and not how. Is that helpful, Gila?
Yes. Thank you.
You betcha. All right. Who is next? Do we have time, team? I think we do. Who's ready? Raise your hand. Bring on in. Have a high level question for me. Leanna, come on in. Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning, Coach.
How can I best
Okay.
help you? All right. Ask your highest level.
It's time for me to level up
That's good.
in my beliefs and in my actions, and I'm working on both. I just feel like I probably know exactly what I need to believe and what I need to do, but I feel like there's something I'm not seeing.
Okay. It's not
Or
seeing
maybe I
or
just
not.
need a shot of courage.
Right. And sometimes it is that. So I want you guys to all see, and for those of you who are familiar with the confidence competence loop, right? When people say, they go to events and you listen to people and you're watching all this stuff and you're watching YouTube. Can I get real people saying yes in the chat? You watch all this stuff, but it doesn't change your competence. It doesn't change your
No,
competence,
yeah,
right?
but I'm still, I was excited. I'm making progress. I'm closing high level sales, but I'm thinking low because I'm closing them not paid in full.
Don't let that stress you out. If you are closing, like,
Okay.
look at yourself now. Go, am I a different person than I was 6 months ago? Yes or no?
100%. I could never do this 6 months ago.
Well,
You have
exactly.
literally helped
Okay.
me change my whole life.
So perhaps it isn't in the seeing. It is
Okay.
in the embedding of the recognition and giving honor to yourself on the daily. So what do I mean by that? Most of us focus on the gap and not the gain on the daily. So for the
That's
next
me.
30 days in the morning, I want, and everyone here, I want you to think about, right? I want you to think about what are 3 things that you would really love, that would, only 3. Somebody put only 3 in the chat because I know you all. I know, I see your lists. I see your list. I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. And then you are guaranteed to feel like a failure by 5 o'clock. Can I get everybody here? What if you could, like in Ephesians 5:16, buy back your time? What if you could afford to offload some of these things that we think are on our list? Maybe they're on somebody else's list, a who list that you haven't hired yet. Just like tuck that in your mind
I've been
right now,
trying to figure out a
right?
way to
Okay.
do that
Well,
more
your way
quickly.
is you keep selling. The more you sell, the more you're going to be
Right.
healed. Remember, selling is the highest level of healing. Everyone write that down. Learning how to master sales, right? If you get, right, Mark, if you get a deal with somebody for a movie and they pay $1 trillion, are you changed? If you have a speaking engagement, Miriam, and you speak to people, they pay you $200,000 for 2 days to come and speak. When that low level person picks up the phone, are you even going to have a conversation with them? Yes or no? Unless God's
No.
called you. You guys have to hear this. There are people in our life, I call them EMGs, the extra measure of grace people. Some of us have some of those people in our life and we're called to them. So I'm not saying don't pay attention to them. I'm saying the other people that you do really need to let go of. Does everybody understand the difference between the two? So for 30 days, Leanna, I want you to focus on the gain instead of the gap and see what happens in your neural pathways. Once you start to train yourself to have a recognition of, wow, look at, well, these are 3, like, we actually do this at dinner as a family. This is one of my, for those of you, you know, if you have a family and you're wondering, how do I do all this stuff? Like, I have all these SOPs. I call them playbooks because I like that. I like playbook better than SOP. SOP sounds like LinkedIn. Playbook sounds like TikTok, you know, sounds more fun. And so focus on, I'll ask my family, like, what are the 3 things today that you're just so thankful for? And write that down. And then at that, you know, and then be clear the next morning. What are the 3 things that I'm going to accomplish today? And you're going to start to see, wait a second, I'm doing it. But focus on the gain, not the gap, Leanna. Focusing on gap daily, you start to go back to a slave mentality. So you go back to, oh, low value, only working with clients that, like, I just, you know, clients that you just don't want to work with. They're going to pay you a little bit. They're going to want you to over deliver. You go right back into slave and bondage. And so at some point, everyone has to make a decision. What's the word decide mean? To cut yourself off from any other outcome. You have to decide that you're going to have mastery. What is mastery? The ability to execute effortlessly without the use of conscious resources. When you have mastery about communicating, and I'm going to call it communications of sales, communicating at such a high level to be able to talk to and unlock people so well that they are eager to pay you because you're solving a problem for them so well. When you can do that on mastery and you combine it with, I am, and the only way you're going to get there is by, you've got to sacrifice the 80. You cannot think you're going to be
I'm about
able
what
to.
the
And I
80
meet people
are.
all the time.
I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry.
And if you're focusing on, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this other thing and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do all, you're going to do them all poorly. And you're probably not going
Yeah.
to have the level of energy that you actually need to be able to communicate to your highest level person who sees you. Remember, high level people are a high level energy frequency. They're like beep, 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 beep. They can pick it up. I've actually gone into a church before. And I remember that I went to visit a church and a pastor afterwards said, I could feel you enter the room before I ever talked to them. It was a woman pastor. She said, I could feel you enter the room. People make buying decisions by just in the first seconds of our presence, our voice. This is why I focus on I'm the only one in the industry. So you guys can like look and Google and everything you want. I'm the only one in the industry who has made the association between the frequency of heaven in our voice and the money in our bank account.
I'm so
Because
grateful for that. It's
I'm
made a
so grateful for
difference.
you too. Amen, right? You're not the same person you were 6 months ago. So I want you to, first of all, go,
No.
that beating myself up thing that I do, or thinking that I haven't come or grown, that is not me. Just guys, everybody shake it off. That is not me. I don't receive that at all. Just shake it off and focus on your gap. I mean, focus on your gain and not the gap for 30 days. Your brain is going to change. Everybody put, my brain is going to change. And I can't wait to hear back from you on that, Leanna, because I think you are doing the do. You're teaching your team. You're closing the sales. You're doing the marketing. You're doing the audios. You're doing the videos. You're doing your delivery. Like, you're doing it. You're doing the do. And often it's in the middle, right? Anybody go to the gym? And in the middle, you're just like trying to get better at certain things. It doesn't feel like any form of success. Can I get a witness? But then you start to see that you're coming over to the other side, but you can't give up. You've got to keep going and you'll start to see the
I
fruit.
will.
Amen. So keep going, keep
Keep
going,
going.
keep going. All right. Okay, team, we're getting close to our 12 o'clock. Thank you for everybody's asked questions. If you still have a question, I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed in any way at all. Put your question in the chat. I'm going to make sure that I get to it during the training part. But we have now 5 minutes. You can like run and grab a snack. You can get a cup of coffee. You can go in your backyard for a couple minutes. Do something that refreshes you. And I'll see you back here in 5 minutes for the training. Big love, guys. Thanks for showing up well. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Clients All Summer. And today is day 5. We are going to be talking about the clean decision, how to present the offer, lead the investment, conversion, conversation, and close without pressure. So we had a pretty amazing VIP room. I'd love to hear some fire in the chat from people, and it was pretty good. I feel like there was some breakthrough, which is a way that it should be. Amen. And today we're going to dive right in. So on day 1, you read the room. Day 2, you were hearing about the client currency. Day 3, you were diagnosing belief. And day 4, you were choreographing belief across the journey. And today we're going to teach you how to lead to the final agreement. Because the close confirms the decision, the journey prepared. So I want you to give yourself some, clap your hands, give yourselves a pat on the back. I want you to get a little bit of excited because you've really done quite a bit this week. And if you weren't here every day this week, it's okay, right? Let's implement quickly what we have learned. The close should not be the first time the prospect is agreeing to things. I know when I was being trained by other people years ago around sales, one of the things I didn't like was that there was all this objection handling at the end of a sale. And also people selling things to people that people don't want. Has anybody ever been sold something that just actually isn't the best thing for you? And so that's what gives salespeople kind of a bad rap. We want to be in a conversation. And write this down. Conversions happen in conversations. They happen in conversations. The problem matters. Their result matters. We want them to feel that the method makes sense. We want to know that you understand them and that they trust you, that they can participate. Those agreements should have been developed throughout the journey. So again, the whole process needs to be a bit of a conversation. You know, I really love movies. I know Mark, who's in the room, loves movies too. When I was growing up, you guys know my parents are in long-term care now. We sold my parents' childhood home, which is about 15 minutes away from me, just a couple weeks ago. So my parents only lived in one house my whole childhood. And I love watching movies with my dad. And it's something that it's been a bit of a transition for me to, not really have that opportunity in the privacy of his home or here and to be going to the long-term care to see him. I love movies like Casablanca. I love old movies that are rich in conversation. And conversations are really important to me. I guess you guys could probably tell that by now. And we can choose to have more meaningful conversations, or we can just be consumed in a business where we're only after who's going to join, how much money can we make, how many more people, and we're not really enjoying the journey. So we have an opportunity to have the right price point, to work with the people we want to, and to create the marketing and the sales process where we can get rich, not famous, and that we can use those funds to now fund a ministry. And I call it the Thessalonians lifestyle. You can live quietly. I don't go to the grocery store and get I don't really go to the grocery store, I have to be honest, but I don't go out in public and people are like, oh my goodness, and screaming and chasing after me. Although I did have it one time, right, Christian? We went to look at a house and the lady said, oh, you're a celebrity. Because Christian and I always I'm not wearing it right now, but I always wear hot pink everything, except for my vehicles aren't hot pink. But I wear hot pink or pale pink or things like that. And she said, yo, you're a celebrity. I was like, what? What are you talking about? But you can live a quiet life and you can have the finances to fund your dream. If that's you, put me in the chat. I don't think we need to complicate our lives and fill it up with so much busyness that we miss out on having beautiful conversations with the people that we love in our lives. I think our whole life could be having meaningful conversations. And I think your clients actually appreciate it when you have real conversations with them and you talk to them. I'm not going to go through the readiness score, but decision intelligence includes knowing when not to close, right? We're asking questions to unlock people and see where they're at and what's important to them. Again, it could be in it could be in the coaching space. It could be in securing a deal with anybody, with a government, with a community, with anybody. Put it in the chat, who you help and the problems you solve for them. So it can be in any way at all. But you want to be also know like who is not a good fit. And a clean close begins with a clean qualification. And you want to ask words to them. You want to speak to them in such a way that you can reveal what it is that they are saying. That it becomes kind of salesy when we are only using our words. So you use their words, right? When you can say things like, when you were sharing with me, I heard you say, and you say it back to them what's important to them. You were saying to me that, so I'll use Miriam for example from VIP, right? She was saying that she would love to make, have 10K per client, have 100 clients over the next year. It's a clean $1 million plan. And she doesn't want to have drama and complexity and 10 funnels and 75 offers and having to overwork and overperform and not be with her family, right? We want to listen to what people are saying. We want to share their gap in their words, right? If I'm hearing you correctly, what has prevented you from taking action so far? Or what was happened is you've been in a season where you have been, healing and going through things and getting things set up and making a decision that eventually you're going to exit your 9 to 5. But right now you have a gap of about 100K a month because that's what you would really like to see in your world. Do you see that too? So always share things in the context of the person that you're selling to, not in terms of your offer, what you do, how you have the thing, or you have some sort of system. Most people really don't care. People care that you hear them, that they feel heard and understood. When people feel seen, heard, and understood, and you have credibility, and you can do the thing that you're sharing, and you have either proof or you've done it in some other way, some other form in your life, some other system or some other job or at some other capacity, they believe that you can do the thing because you're showing up like you can. So I want somebody who has a real prospect or a real person. And so I want you to think about that. And you guys can raise your hands and think about, what's going on for them. What's going on for them right now? Where are they stuck? What is causing them some problems right now in not getting to the place that they want to be? And when you start to have the investment conversation with them, that's kind of the last part. You want to really see what is important to them, where they are stuck, what they're doing, what it is. Okay. Now, some of you may have an offer that you are getting an opportunity to do a pitch. I can help you with what that looks like as well. But you're still asking the questions of the CEO, the company, the person who's in charge of making decisions. What is important to them? What would they really like to see happen? And how does what you have make that happen for them, and how to communicate it best with them? Okay, who is ready, team? All right. You want to bring her in the room. Hi, lovely. So think about somebody who, can either be in that process with the investment portion, or they are stuck, or, you just share with me.
Yeah, I have someone in mind, a man actually, and he has a very successful business, and he and I have been talking, and he's looking at some of the solutions I can provide for his business, and he's expressed the fact that he really wants more than just the AI. It's really like he knows he's his own worst enemy. He knows he's keeping himself in this, himself exactly where you were talking about with the, he is every who in his business. And I know I can help him through all of it. I know it can be so much bigger, and he's so afraid.
Okay, so This is an excellent example. So everyone, so I will clarify with Gila, and you want to do that with your clients. You want your prospects. You want to say, if I hear you correctly. So if I hear you correctly, you have a gentleman who would say he's successful, or is that you saying that? He would
No,
say he's successful.
he says and he is. I mean, from my account, and he says he's successful. Yes.
Right, but he's still like, to my terms is, you know, 80% done by somebody else is 100% freaking awesome. So somebody still has to be the center of their business. You
Yeah.
don't have a business, you have a job.
Exactly, which is
Okay?
exactly the conversation I've had with him. Yes.
So he wants AI solutions, right? Which is maybe your selling feature, right? Is part of it. But there's going to be belief systems that he has that you want to unlock in him. Remember, there's a conversation, and guys, this is happening with your kids, with your spouse, with everyone. There is this level conversation, then there's this level conversation. So he's going to say to you, oh, I really need AI, all these kinds of things. But you want to ask a deeper level conversation so that you can truly unlock him. And when you unlock somebody, they see that you have the authority, Gila. We don't have to convince people, right? When you show up with authority. So, for example, if I show up, I pray for somebody to be healed and their cancer is gone, or they can move their shoulder and they couldn't. Are they going to say, well, before I receive that, I'm feeling better. Could you just like hand me your resume?
No, but can I
No.
just tell you, he actually doesn't. He knows that the solutions I provide are AI powered, but he is not. That's not what he's looking for. And we have already started broaching the conversation of the fact that he understands that he's so in his fear of letting anything go, at all. Like we've already started a
That's
good
good.
amount to go. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And when I
So
even our last call said to him, what I'm hearing, am I hearing you correctly, that you're really looking for not just the systems, but the person to support you through, or people to support you through this transition. He says something along the lines of, yes, but I want to start really tiny because I'm afraid.
exactly.
Yeah.
So he is being truthful, but right about
Yes.
this, which, guys, I want you to understand that. What happens next? What do you think? So we know he said, I'm fearful of this. So what question do you need to ask next?
What what can we do to start to build that confidence for you, to allow you to, I'm open to stepping in slowly to start so that he can feel confident about it and not feel like I'm,
I would never
no.
start slow with somebody that's a good
Okay.
fit. Right,
Okay.
guys? Like the devil's in the delay. If somebody is actually a good fit, right, there's a
Okay.
timing for everything. And he has to see, and everybody write down, no gap, no sale. So when you don't want to make assumptions. So he's saying he's fearful of something. You're going to step in to say, I'm curious. Have you considered what the cost of you not offloading tasks to others is? Have you considered what the cost? Have you considered? We don't want to just go, and you want to, as much as possible, not say, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. You want your prospect to bring you over the sales line. You want them to remember, the highest form of persuasion is self-persuasion. And people don't feel sold to. When you help people to recognize things and they see it themselves, they make the decision and they send you the money. And you feel great and they feel great. But also, they're great clients once they start, because you're not going to have churn because you didn't convince him. You asked the questions and he figured out. You are the guide. right? You're bringing him through a process where you're like a Sherpa going up a mountain. You're helping him to see as he goes. So when you say, have you considered the cost of not unloading these tasks to somebody else or whatever it is that he's not offloading, right? I don't know the whole picture. And so when you ask that, he's going to go, oh, and then he might say no, or he might say yes. He might say, yes, I realize. Then you can say, so let's say, where is he at monthly in income?
About $50,000.
Okay, so he's at 50,000 a month. And then what
Yeah.
does he want it to be?
He wants to at least double it. I mean, ultimately he wants more, but he says he can only see potentially doubling, and he's afraid that doing it because of how he's doing it, that he won't be able to handle it and keep up his excellence in fulfillment.
Right, which is a belief system.
Yeah.
All of that is a mindset, because guys, I want you to realize, and you're all going to go through this. Anyone who's never gone to 50K months, you're going to think that whatever got you to 50K months is what you're going to have to do to get to 100K months. Same with going to 10K months. You're going to get there, you're going to do the work, you're going to get there, and you're going to go, oh, well, I don't need a coach now because I can just go. No, it's a totally different game each section. Right?
So it's not more of the same.
So it's not more of the same, right? So then you want to be for him to be able to say, so you can say, have you considered, right? Or reword that. Have you considered that your nervous system is self-sabotaging? Because it thinks until it has a new system, which is what your solution is, but you don't ever say you. You want them to say you, right? Have you considered that your nervous system is self-sabotaging because it thinks, and now I would not say this to somebody who hasn't been transparent. He has been transparent.
Yes.
Because, right, it thinks that without a new system, that the way you got to 50K months is how you'll get to 100K months, and your body or mind or whatever he says is exhausted is saying no and won't let you increase. I know my writing's terrible, guys. I did get into medical school. I just started it and then I stopped. But there's my proof right there about my terrible writing. But ask him that question and he's going to go, you're brilliant. And that's exactly what's happening, Gila. He's going to say that to you. Now you have the ability to step into, well, I have a solution. And your solution cannot be your 5,000 different programs that keep your nervous system a wreck. Your offer now is that offer you're going to believe in that you're going to have. And this person, it's a no-brainer. $50,000 offer, they're going to get a 20x return. I'd say that's a pretty good investment. And now he knows he's going to have his nervous system regulated. He's going to have systems and structures. He's going to have AI to be able to do it. And you may have to ask things like, are you willing to suspend disbelief? Are you willing? Are you willing to suspend disbelief? Are you willing to shelf the lack of belief on how it's going to happen and trust a system and a plan to get there? Because guys, if you really had it figured out, you'd be doing it. So don't think it's arrogant when we think we don't need people to help us to get to the next level. It's super arrogant. Because again, do you want to take 30 years or you'd rather pay somebody who can bring you the solution in a year? Have a year, pay them for it and get the solution, or take the next 30 years going around the mountain figuring it all out yourself. Like all day long, I'll pay to collapse a time frame. Does that help, Gila? Do you feel like this is going to bring him into it? Okay.
So much. I'm calling him today. I sent him something yesterday. I'm calling today.
I wouldn't call. So part of it too is you're going to step into my 2-step process.
Okay.
What I mean by that is a 10-minute call and a close. When we start to overgive, guys, everyone hear this. When you start to overgive, you're training your prospect that you don't have, like you just don't have a boundary. You're training them to teach you to treat you improperly once you're with them.
Okay.
Once you start coaching, okay, so this is authority and this is connection. I want you guys to be right here in the middle with authority and connection. Right? When it's all like just like, hey, like here's my thing, the hardcore closer. Here's my thing. This is what we're gonna do. This is all about. How about we? When you talk like that and they haven't already made a decision, it's wrong. When we go into like all connection, you guys all have sent these messages. Hi, I'd love to have a coffee date. It would be really wonderful if we could chat. You're showing no authority about what you do. When you step into starting to coach, now sometimes this is my terrible drawing of Swiss cheese. Don't worry, I will not be leaving my current profession to become a professional artist. You guys have no fear at all in that. So we have this Swiss cheese approach, which you can have little things that you're saying in there, but it's mostly how you ask questions, Gila, not saying things. You show your authority by how you ask the questions. And they give the answer and go, oh, snap, I see myself in that. They don't get to have the full enchilada, which I feel like you're given to people. You're giving away instead of waiting. Just think of it as like sex outside of marriage. It's like, don't give. Like, don't give. Don't be giving in that way. Yes, you want to build rapport, but you want to have authority in the rapport because you are an advocate for your people. This is where sales is beautiful. Right? A sale will happen if you truly are an advocate. If you're like really diagnosing, I call it assess instead of impress. You're assessing and you've already assessed. You're like, okay, but you got to be careful of like, oh, try this and do this and do this. I promise you guys, if you do that, you will set yourself up for a system and a business your nervous system does not feel safe in. And you could create codependent business relationships. None of us want to be in codependency. Can I just get an amen to freedom from that in the chat? You want everyone to know that this is why the 10-minute call. 10-minute call assesses whether or not you're a good fit. Then you work out everything through text between the 10-minute call and the close. Why? Because I want you to have 3 to 5 team members that are helping you rock this out. Or AI. Like a team member can be AI. Let's say you have one person who's managing, right, the back end and the tech and the support. But you want to be able to step into that, right, Gila? You don't want to have this for you to be the overworked solopreneur, right? And the way that you have to set that boundary with him first. Don't think that you have to overgive for them to be able to say yes. You know, I remember when I was Christian was courting me, right? He was in Belgium. I was in Canada. I didn't even think this guy liked me because he was so different than other guys. He was very respectful. He didn't like make comments about body parts or about me or about anything. He had said very clearly he wasn't going to have sex until marriage. He had said very clearly that he was operating in ministry and had a business and all these things. He was clear about his boundaries. I was clear about my boundaries. But to me, I was like, wait a second, like, you know, he's not really being, you know, some guys are just over the top in really a certain way. You have to starve yourself, Gila, from the old ways of thinking around business and around how it's supposed to go and decide I'm only going to work in this new way where I know my offer, I know how I help. I'm going to set the boundaries of how this goes. I'm going to ask questions they're going to answer. If they play games and mind games and all kinds of stuff, they're not a good fit for you because you'll just create a future that you don't want to step into. When we create futures we don't want to step into, we self-sabotage every day. Anybody ever signed up for something and it was like so much like busy work or overwork, or, and you're like later going, why did I ever do that? Everyone put yes in the chat. And every day you're drained thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you right now are, you're just like right about to make some massive changes in your world. You're looking for 20. That's it. 20, Gila. Get this in your mind. 20. Everyone, decide how many. Miriam's got 100 at 10,000. Decide right now and just have that in your mind. And from that point forward, if the enemy goes, well, nobody will pay you, blah, 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 just go, no, that's a lie. Coach Evans already told me. Nope, that's a lie, devil. Coach Evans already told me. Because the devil all day long knows that right now is the only chance he has. Because once you start to make that kind of money, you're a changed person forever.
Okay, so don't call him.
Message him now with the next question. Are you like whatever you're in? Guys, when I say
Okay.
message, it can be WhatsApp, it can be email, it can be LinkedIn. Like
Okay.
my method is all levels all the time and a team member doing it all, right? I have team people messaging people, getting my content ready, my house set up, whatever it is, my events ready, right? I have moved when I'm out of the country before. I have done an event in Cozumel while my person sets up all my Christmas stuff and I come home and it's all set up. I wasn't around. I wasn't there. I did nothing. I don't clean my house. I don't do that stuff. So get that in your mind right now. So you're going to text him and say, right, have you considered what the cost is, right, of you not offloading the tasks? Get him to figure out a financial
Okay.
cost.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Because you've got to get into what the underlying issue is. Every one of you, you're going to have to learn how to become a CIA agent. People who have told you sales are really simple and all you have to do is have all this marketing. But if you have a million people who come and they want your thing and you don't have a sales system, it's going to be all broken and you're not going to have the skill and you're not going to feel confident and you're going to sell your thing for $1 instead of having a system where simplicity scales and complexity fails. So ask him that next question, Gila. Like you're close to this, but get out of the old convincing and proposals. Trust me, girl. I've so been there. Get out of that mindset and get into the new one of let's ask the questions. Let him make the decisions. Let him see where he's failing. Let him see, because when you ask all those questions, he is going to automatically attribute you as having the solution. Don't get sucked back into the old wineskin, the old mindset, the old over delivery that was stepping in to convince and push and try to get breadcrumbs from people. Guys, I want you to all know there's a beautiful life on the other side of this. And your nervous system can rest. Anybody want rest? Like, why you're making it hard on yourself, Gila? You have to ultimately, we all have to ask ourselves. Thank you for being in. I call it a love seat, guys, not a hot seat. So I don't want anybody to ever feel condemned. But God exposes, like Jesus exposes for the purpose of healing. So I'm only asking these questions because, man, I want your soul healed, Gila. I want your every part of you being like, I feel awesome. I'm not just making money. I feel awesome. My kids love being around me. My people in my world feel like I have enough energy for them. Isn't that your definition of wealth, guys?
Yes.
And
That's the dream.
right. And I'm really teaching you. I'm not saying, this fast action, do all this amazing. I'm being so honest with you of what's required. But I also want you to know it's possible, right? When my husband opens for me, like Matt used to, and Grace used to, and Tori, and I've had other team members open for me. But when my husband does, and he says all those things about me, it every single time does something in my soul. He sees me every day. He sees me in the day in, day out. The other day I was sharing with him something somebody had said that was so amazing. He said, you know what? Every time you walk someone through breakthrough, I feel just like that. I feel like I get to be with that person. Guys, we want the people in our world to be saying those things about us. not strangers online. Get rich, not famous. Close the sales. Learn how to do this. It really is real, but you're going to first be wrestling. And all of you just put love in the chat because, like, you all feel the same thing that Gil is going through right now. We all have to let go of these old ways we thought were going to get us to where we want to go. And we realize they didn't. Like, it's just going to cause more trauma. Like, would you rather go out for lunch with a friend and laugh or go to another counseling session? Like, it costs the same amount. I'd rather spend $240 on lunch with a girlfriend who makes my gut laugh so hard that I can barely breathe versus $240 with somebody complaining about my life. Right? Gila, you are called to take these women on adventures. You are called to show them a world that they just forgot about. You are called to instill back in them what somehow got taken away because they let down their boundaries. You're going to teach on boundaries. Like, it may be AI and leadership, but they're going to go, wow, my family's better. My marriage is better. My relationships are better. How I see myself is better. I'm getting paid better. I know when I meet with people and they start working with me, I have 4 moves that I can literally double their income in the first couple weeks just because of 4 moves. You have that ability right now. So unlock him and restrain yourself of telling. Start selling. Don't tell, sell. You got this. Can't wait to hear what he says back. So text him right now. I'll help you with the next thing. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you're enjoying this, put some hearts in the chat. I know I go down rabbit trails a little bit, or I go longer with people, but isn't that what it's really about? Like, it's what really matters. And you guys having breakthrough to me really matters. When we're communicating with our prospects, we are going to be, we're going to hear certain things that are on the surface. These are all surface things that people say. And I promise you, with the system that I have, that if you go about it in a totally different manner, you're going to have people tell you the real things that are going on. And you'll just collapse them. You'll collapse what seems like, I got to talk with my spouse. And this is what you'll be trained online if you look at other sales things. I've invested before. I can't afford it. I'm not ready. Put yes in the chat if you've heard these things. Oh, you're so sweet, Leanna. I think that you have to be both a breakthrough coach and a life coach when you're a business coach, if I'm being really real, because the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And I don't want you guys showing up one way online and then another way in your home and another way in your marriage and another way at church. Like, I want you to be whole. That's what integrity means, is to be whole. So that you're at church and you feel at rest. You're at home and you feel at rest. You're with your spouse. And guys, I know everything's not perfect all the time, so I'm not making it sound that way. But be willing to step into, different components in your line of work that you maybe, didn't even know you could harness within yourself. Your people love when you're real. They don't want it to be just a LinkedIn profile. They don't want a CV. They want to feel. Somebody put feel in the chat. They want to feel that they're seen, heard, and understood. When you ask the questions that reveal what's most important to them, you now have the real conversation and you're able to bring, again, I don't like to call it closing a sale. I like to call it opening a relationship. It's just that we give 2 free access to people coming into our world. So when I say open a relationship, you may think, well, it's already open to everybody. Is that healthy? You don't want everyone to think that they can have access to you. Then why would you have a price? If everyone can come into your world, can come in and interrupt you anytime, then why even have a price? There should be no price. And that's why people think they shouldn't have a price, is because they act without boundaries. The moment you set up healthy, holy boundaries in your world, you can have a price. Now, of course, if your kid calls you and, whatever things that, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in your professional world. You want to limit the drama, put yes in the chat. I remember years ago when, I had 11 kids at home running a law practice, and I had a section in my house. I had a whole wing where I had a whole life wing for the family, and then I had a conversation room in an office where we'd meet with clients. And, people would call. People call at 11 o'clock at night. They'd be in fight. They'd have people leaving and spouses and kids didn't drop off kids. And I thought I was being an excellent person by handling everything and navigating and answering and responding to everybody, until I almost had a nervous breakdown of, I cannot live like this. And I stopped allowing, people to come to my house and accept exceptional people. I had one couple that I mentored for a whole year. I said, would you consider not divorcing and just coming to my house for dinner with your kids every Wednesday? I'm not saying that's for everybody. I'm saying set the boundary. Make sure people see you. They're willing to pay and invest in themselves and you. People who pay attention. So thinking if you do free work with somebody, they're going to all of a sudden value you is wrong. Going slowly, like Gila was talking about, I'm going to kind of go, no. Say, I think at some point you have to say, I think I can help. I think I can help. I like to say, that's one of my favorite lines. I think I can help. To know for sure, can I ask you some questions? Because you don't know. Just because somebody will pay you doesn't mean they're going to do the work. Just because somebody can pay you doesn't mean you're going to like them being in your room. Just because somebody can pay you doesn't mean they're coachable. You can pour out your oil all day long, and if it's soaking in the streets, God's not going to be very impressed. He wants it to see your oil in the hearts of others and unlocking those people so well. And not always, but the higher the price point, like you've got to have higher skills to be able to unlock, right? A $10 widget is not an issue. But with somebody who is, thinking and considering of investing in anything, investments, real estate, some kind of higher level offers, coaching, luxury items, if you learn the skill set of mastery in sales, you will never be without ever again. Never. Who would like to be able to just turn on a tap and turn on money anytime? Sales mastery allows you to do that, not content creation. I understand that content's important. So understand, of course, I do content. Actually, next week in KSA, we are doing the 30-day blueprint for your reels, your marketing, all based on reverse engineering your sales. Who's excited? And we'll have everything in the Sales Boss Suite and in the Sales Boss Suite AI to have your prompts and all your pieces, because it's about unlocking your people in the chats. It's not about your marketing. I could care less if I have nobody say, oh, I think this is awesome. I don't even care. I share what I really know other people need to hear that are my people. That's all you have to do. And then you are proactive to reach out to them. A lot of it has to do with being proactive. If you're not proactive to reach out to people, remember that they're just going to stay in their pain. And most people that are in a lot of pain, they don't always respond on your post. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Has anybody ever read or watched something online? Like some people that I really love are like, just trying to think of, I don't want to say names, but people who talk about like growing up in a narcissistic family, or like, let's just say that for example, Leanna, right? Like something of interest, like people who have, parents that have had addictions. Most people, if you're talking about sexual issues, financial issues, addiction issues, all that, they're not commenting in the chat. Right? Can I get a witness? Like most people just watch it and go, wow, that really touched my heart. And I have people who come to me and say, I've been watching, I've been listening, I've been reading, and everything I've taken in. So if someone's not commenting on your post, please stop getting discouraged. they could be watching on the sidelines quietly. Some of my highest paying clients never, and I'll say the word never, never commented. They probably don't even know how to find me on Facebook. They may not even have a Facebook account. So don't get discouraged. I do have a solution of how to reach them, how to find them, and how to unlock them using your voice. Okay? So that's important that you know that in there. So I want to share a little bit about the Kingdom Sales Academy. And of course, I have other levels as well, guys. So the reason why I want to share about the Kingdom Sales Academy is that, and I want everybody just to suspend, like just take and suspend this fear or disbelief that you can't pay for things. Because the enemy wants to keep you small, right? He wants to keep you small. He doesn't want you to believe for really high level things. He wants you to get into fear and think, well, you better think about this, or what about this, or what about this? That's why it's called the 97%. So we have a new movement my husband and I have started called Leaving 97. And it's about that journey, how to leave Egypt and go to the promised land. And we're going to honestly talk. So it's just in the new, and we're interviewing people, and we're excited. I'm hoping my husband will be the one that'll write this book and not myself. But in this journey, there's so many things that you have to leave and let go. And at the same time, you're having to learn new skill sets. Like, to me, of all the training I've had in education, the most important is communication and learning how to communicate to other people and ask questions and unlock them. More important than anything else, like in schools, why don't they teach about financial literacy and communication and conflict resolution and how to avoid having an addiction in your life? Like, they teach all these other things that people don't really need. That's just my 2 cents for a second. In the Kingdom Sales Academy, and again, if you want to work at a lower level and not have as much access to me, that's totally cool. I can help you get to, get quick results. And if you're at a higher level and you are ready to invest, I have a much higher level. Okay. So I just want you to know something about me. I will never, and I can honestly say that, I will never sell you something I don't think is the best for you. And I meet people that also, they think they're at a certain level and they are not at all. And there's people who think they're at a lower level and they're not. I know that by some moves, some mindset work, and actually just taking action, right? Like, if I just thought about the planks I don't want to do in my workouts, if I just was like, I'm just going to think about that for a while. I'm just going to keep thinking. It does nothing. Right? Every time I do a plank and I feel like, okay, like, hello, it feels like the time should be up by now. Anybody ever had that experience when you're doing exercise? But every time, that's how I got to a 4-minute plank, was every time she just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing the envelope and kept me accountable. So the Kingdom Sales Academy is to help you go up to the level of mastery, so that you can earn the money that you want. And it will take time. So I'm not being disingenuous. I don't like it when people say, you just, there's these 3 things and you just do this. But I do promise you that you are going to be able, if you follow everything and you stay coachable and you keep leaning in and you keep feeling the discomfort and not letting it bother you and say, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get better, I'm going to not let the freak out factor bother me. You will get to that stage. Is it worth it? Like, to me, just think, like, if you have a job, you're tied to something all day long. The model I'm going to show you is like 3 days a week where you can close high level sales, that you can have 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many people you want to pay, how much things you don't want to do. And there are things that AI can do. Now, I have created my own AI. I didn't offload it. Even though my husband's a software engineer, I actually am the one who created it myself. I just smash through things till I figure things out. And I want to help you to do the same. So it's for you and your team. So I teach you how to master it all, and then all of the 80% that we can offload to your team. And then the 20% is you. So what is your 20%? Your 20% is, you're probably at a ceiling right now, but you keep dipping back into the 80, hoping it'll work, and you get scrappy dappy do, and you just keep doing all these things. But the book you want to write isn't getting done. The speaking engagement you want to have isn't happening. The retreat that you want to see happen isn't happening. The higher level offer isn't happening. The more time with your family isn't happening. Can I get a witness? Because I've been there. So I created this 100% because I went through it. I've learned everything. I've created every solution, and I'm not going to I don't add in any junk. Anyone who knows me, has worked with me, had success in any way, please share. So it does require, it's going to require a new skill. It's going to require mastery. It's going to require that you show up for yourself. But you will have tech support. You will have team support. You will have access to me. And when I say that, what I'm meaning is just like you're seeing today in the VIP room and all week, for those of you who have been all week, that you will on the regular be able to bring any, Sonny put any sales, anything sales related. Right. I don't add any junk. KSA changes everything. You know, I've had people come in with a $6,000 offer, and in less than 30 days, they have a 30,000 plus offer, and they're closing those on the regular as their normal. Okay. Again, you don't have to do that. You can choose what level you want to be at. But I'm just saying that it's absolutely possible. You have to like suspend disbelief. I call it like going to Mars, right? Just say, okay, I've never been to Mars. I'm just going to trust that it's a really nice place to live at. And I'm going to do everything that I'm supposed to prepare to go to Mars. That's really what it comes down to. Because over time, you'll start to realize I'm doing the iterations towards mastery. I'm getting help that I need. So access, what that means is you're going to have absolute breakthrough weekly, all the time. I don't want to go into all the modules and all this stuff, but basically, if you're thinking about out loud right now, okay, what do I need? So anything you need to be able to close high level premium value offers. I don't call it high ticket coaching because high ticket anything refers to what the person gets, not the client. I like premium value offers because it refers to the outcome of your person. So anything you need. So in your voice, the audios, anything to be able to pre-sell, to pre-suade, all the questions that I use to be able to unlock, what are the tones, every portion of it that has to do with your marketing, with your conversion process, with your delivery model and scaling, so that you can get to 84K months in 1 year. Who would like to be at 84K months in a year? And have a team member who's doing all the, I call it the knucklehead tasks. I am like, and again, in university, I even had a cleaning business. I would clean. I've done things. I've had a restaurant. I've done a lot of really hard labor. It's not like I couldn't. I've just finally made decisions that I want to value what God has given me as my gift. Who wants to value that? And I want to value it so well that I make money from it. When you make money from it, of the thing that God has given you as a gift, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like exactly where you're supposed to be. So those people who join this month in the Kingdom Sales Academy, and so if you're even like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to do it, and I'm feeling, I call it skited, right? Scared and excited. Just apply. Just apply. You know, team, if you want to put the link in the chat, I have applications for all levels, VIP, for Born to Influence, for Kingdom Sales Academy. Any deposit you put on. So let's say you decide, I want to do KSA. You'll get Born to Influence as well. You'll also get Future Proof, which is my whole AI. So the things that are included is Future Proof, is BTI, is any of my teachings, my trainings. You have access to the Sales Boss Suite, which is my CRM. You have access to the Sales Boss Suite AI, which is better than Claude and Manus, ChatGPT, everything. And it has all my intellectual property in it, so that when you ask questions, it creates either marketing or helps you with audios, helps you with things that are in my framework of closing sales. You get access to that too. All right. And I really feel like we are very giving and very helpful. So anyone who knows that is true, just put truth in the chat. right? That you've seen it over a period of time and it's not something that is like occasional, right? So unlike, right? So some people join things and they just feel like, oh my God, you ever felt that? You join something, you're like, they said it was going to be this and it's not. So my goal is to always be above and beyond, like in Ephesians 3:20. Like truly, you have the tech support, you have the online support, you have the CRM support, you have the AI support, and you have access to me. And not because I couldn't have somebody else work for me in my regard. It's that I believe that the people that I work with at this level in Kingdom Sales Academy, they want my help. Can I get a yes in the chat? Like, yes, I can have other people, and yes, occasionally I'll have guests, but very rarely. That's my commitment. So you know that most of the time you're going to be able to get access to my answers to be able to help you close any sale. So any sale. I've literally had, people say, I've got this and this and this, and they close that 50, 80, 100K offer. If you're somebody who wants to create a 100K offer and beyond, I do have a different program for that. We can have a conversation. And right now, it includes Cozumel, but only to the end of the month. So you can be able to attend and come to an event in Cozumel with us, but you only have 7 days to be able to be all in. The price point for this is, and I'll share a little bit about Cozumel. So Cozumel is 4 days, 3 nights, where you are, and KSA does not have any one-on-one. I just want to be very clear with people that there's no one-on-one. This is a group, but you have access to all my training. You will see me a few times a week. You'll have at least 4 hours with me in a week. You have access to all the support, everything that the team can do. And if only I can answer something, I'll create a video or I'll contact you. Does everybody understand that? You'll never be left going, I don't know how to solve this. So somebody else, but truth in the chat if you do know that's true. Because I feel like it's better when other people say things. When I say it, I feel like somebody else should be saying that. So that's $55,000 for the year. But I want you to remember, you're looking at this 10, 12, 20x your return on investment to be able to learn how to close $1 million in sales. If you make $1 million over this next year, so let's just picture a year from now, tell me how you're feeling. Even if you want to give it all away, like really, again, I'm not saying you're doing it for any other, reason. Yeah, free. I'm a generous giver because the Bible says the generous prosper and are satisfied. Those who refresh others are they themselves refreshed. So my joy is I love refreshing people. I love tipping well. I love blessing people. I love being a cheerful giver at church. I love to do things like that. So again, when you're thinking about this $1 million model, I want you to think about for a second, because a lot of Christians and believers and even in other faiths will say, oh, well, I'm just concerned about my own needs. When we talk about our own needs, it's actually super selfish. I call it mount just enough. Okay, so when I do this whole thing here, you got to go through the learning curve to get to the earning curve. This here is mount just enough for me. That's where people live. That's where the 97% live. And if you want to leave 97, you got to go on this journey where you're going to shed mindsets. You've got to shed old beliefs. You've got to let go. You've got to say no. You've got to learn skills. Somebody put skills in the chat, because right now you may think it isn't skills. You may be thinking in your mind, oh, well, I already know that. I know how to do it. If you knew, guys, you would be doing it. Ask the people around you. Say, do I ask you brilliant questions? If they burst out laughing, don't be offended. I will teach you how to ask brilliant questions. You'll never go to an event. You'll never go to a speaking engagement unprepared. You'll never go somewhere ever again after a year with me and undervalue yourself. That's my promise to you. And you'll know how to close any sale. You'll be like, I can do this in my sleep. It's going to be a Dr. Seuss poem, right? I can do this in a car. I can do this in a jar. I can do this near or far. I can do this anywhere, right? Like you will be doing it in your sleep, on the back deck, anywhere that you are. And that is what you will have as a result. Because I am not willing for you to just get a result without you becoming the person who can stay in this arena. I will help you become that person so well that you will never find yourself disqualified. You will feel like you should be there in that arena. All right. Put the application in the chat, team, for Kingdom Sales Academy. All of them are on my website, heavenhansons.com. You do have to fill out an application, and just let me know if you have, or, of course my team was going to let me know that you have. And we carefully consider who we think is really going to be a really good fit. I will not work with somebody that I don't think will fulfill what they say they're going to do, because it's not going to be easy. It might be the hardest thing that you've ever done, but you're going to become a person that you've been praying to become. And you're going to attract high-level people who pay well, who do the work and stay, and don't call you at 11 o'clock at night saying, I just need this thing. Right, Gila? How many situations have we been in corporate? Come on, guys. All of you probably have, where you're like, I just need this thing. I just need one more thing. And we just kept giving and giving and giving. That's actually not holy, and it's not godly. God calls us to fulfill our calling. So let's make a commitment that we're going to lean in and fulfill the things that he's called us to. And we're going to lay aside every weight that are things that we're just not called to do, so that we can fulfill. And when we go to heaven, you guys, come on, let's all high five. Ready? Everybody, 1, 2, 3 in the air. 1, 2, 3. High five. Right? We want to be able to high five and go, hey, I did everything I was supposed to do. I gave it my best shot. I didn't sabotage things. So, Father, I just declare and decree over every single person that's listening right now. And we seal in all the goodness, all the grace, all the gold that's in their garden. May they have eyes to see with anticipation, not anxiety, of everything that's already in there, and see that with sales mastery skills, they can unlock any situation. They will never be without ever again. So, Lord, we choose to trust you. We trust you that all of it is coming to us now, and that we step fully into position to learn how to master these skills, so that we have a container to be able to catch all the gold. I'm seeing flames of gold right now over all you guys in the spirit realm. And we thank you. We thank you, God, for everything. Amen. I can't wait to hear about all the good things that are going to come from this week, guys. Please make sure you fill out your application, because we're onboarding in the next couple of days. So that's the rhythms that I move in. We're going to onboard, and we're going to be diving into getting things set up so hot and sizzling next week, depending on what time zone you're in, what group you're in, setting it up so hot and sizzling that you have clients all summer and all year long. It's been an honor to be able to serve you and to help you, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. You can unmute and say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Much love to you.